Hello students, welcome back to the next video of English Literature Hornbill. Lesson 3rd. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together by Gordon Cook and Ellen H. I am Rajesh Kumar Singh from Divine Public School, Monapur, Gorakhpur. Students, let's proceed the next paragraph, paragraph 25, 26, page number 17. Reading. I checked and rechecked my calculations. We had lost our main compass and I was using a spare which had not been corrected for magnetic variation. I made an allowance for this and another estimate of the influence of the westerly currents which flow through this part of the Indian Ocean. About 2 p.m., I went on deck and asked Larry to steer a course of 185 degrees. If we were lucky, I told him with a conviction, I did not fail. He could expect to see the island at about 5 p.m. Now, students, let's see some words as compass. This is direct. This instrument is used by the sailors in the sea to find out the direction. Spare, that is extra. Magnetic variation. Variation means difference in calculation. Magnetic, due to magnetic force of earth, as the earth has some magnetic force, but it is not equal. It is not equal to everywhere. Now let's see its explanation. The author had got the emotional feedback for his rescue effort from his children. He got a cord of thanks from his daughter, Sue, as a token of deep filial love before the end of life in sea-wreck disaster. Arthur was also sure of his impending demise. Yet he again resoluted for his best effort of rescue. Impending demise. Arthur knew that their end of life may take place at any moment in the sea. And then the narrator checked and rechecked his calculations about his being in the ocean. The crewmen had lost their main compass, that is the direction showing instrument, and the author was using the another compass which was kept in spare but not properly set for the magnetic variations of the sea. The earth has magnetic force and it is not equal at every place. It changes from place to place and thus has some differences. This differences is called variation. The author had issued an amount for the compass and another instrument to guess and calculate about the influence of the westerly currents which flow through that part of Indian Ocean. About 2 p.m., Arthur went on the deck and asked Larry to turn the ship at a course of 185 degrees and sail on. The narrator told him this with a firm belief, though he did not feel that if they were lucky, then he could expect to see the island at about 5 p.m. Did you understand? The narrator told him with a firm belief, showing strong convictions. But in the heart, he did not feel that was it going to correct. And he told him that if we were lucky, if God blessed, if they were lucky, then they could expect to see the expected island in the sea about 5 p.m. Students, let's proceed on the next paragraph 27-28, page number 17. Then with a heavy heart, I went below, climbed on my bunk, and amazingly dozed off. When I woke up, it was 6 p.m. and growing dark. I knew we must have missed the island, and with the sail we had left, we couldn't hope to beat back into the westerly winds. At that moment, a tousled head appeared by my bunk. Can I have a hug? Jonathan asked. Sue was right behind him. Why am I getting a hug now? I asked. Because you are the best daddy in the whole world and the best captain, my son replied. Not today, John. I am afraid. Why? You must be, said Sue in matter-of-fact voice. You found the island. What? I shouted. It's out there in front of us, they chorused, as big as a battleship. Now, students, let's have its explanation. Amazingly. Amazingly means surprisingly. Dozed off, drifted into light at sound sleep. Dozed off means to have a light sleep. Here, the author dozed off, that is, he drifted into light and at got sound sleep. Tousled head means tousled hair or head looks untidy. Tussle means to make someone's hair look untidy. That is tussle. Now, let's see its explanation. The author instructed Larry to turn the ship at a course of 185 degrees and expressed his opinion with this conviction that if God willed, they might reach at the expected island about 5 p.m. Though he himself did not feel so. Then with a heavy heart, he went below and climbed on his bed in the ship. That is bunk. Okay? And it was surprising that even with a heavy heart, he found himself drifted into from light sleep to sound sleep. And when he woke up, it was 6 p.m. and the curtain of darkness was falling down. Students, what was the expected time? That was 5 p.m. And the author was lost in light sleep to sound sleep and lost 1 hour, and when he awoke it was 6 p.m. And then it was growing dark. The curtain of darkness was falling down. The author became assured that they might have passed or missed the island, and the sail which they had hoisted and which was left, and the one which was left, they could not hope to beat the strong westerly sea winds. When Arthur woke up and found it was 6 o'clock, thus he became dejected that now they have missed the islands and now they have to proceed their journey, but the sail which they had, they could not hope to beat the strong westerly sea winds. As the author was absorbed in such dejective temperament after awakening, he discovered a head with untidy hair appeared by his bedside. It was his son, John, who was asking him whether he could have an embrace with him. Sue was standing just behind him. The surprised narrator asked from them why he was being and why he was getting an embrace then. The son admired his father and again praised him, saying that he was the best daddy in the whole world. And not only the best daddy, also the best captain. The surprised yet hopeless author told them that not that day he was the best. He was afraid whether he was afraid whether. Then the daughter Sue told with voice filled with convictions that he had every right to be, as he had found an island in the turbulent sea. The author was extremely surprised and exclaimed, "What?" The children told their father collectively in one voice that it was there in front of them, the island as big as a battleship. Last paragraph. Students, see the last paragraph is reading paragraph 29-30. I rushed on deck and gazed with relief at the stark outline of the Isle Amsterdam. It was only a bleak piece of volcanic rock with little vegetation, the most beautiful island in the world. And we anchored offshore for the night, and the next morning, all 28 inhabitants of the island cheered as they helped us ashore. With land under my feet again, my thoughts were full of Larry and Harvey, cheerful and optimistic under the direst stress, and of Mary, who stayed at the wheel for all those crucial hours. Most of all, I thought of a 7-year-old girl who did not want us to worry about a head injury, which subsequently took 6 minor operations to remove a recurring blood clot between skin and skull, and of a 6-year-old boy who was not afraid to die. Now, see explanation of this paragraph. Before it, see some new words as stork. Stork means very simple yet severe in appearance. The things look very simple yet very severe, very strong in appearance. For example, in the cold dawn light, the castle looked stark and forbidding. The castle looked stark and forbidding. Next meaning you can say of stark, unpleasantly clear and impossible to avoid. Stark means unpleasantly clear, but it is not possible to avoid. That is stark, as the stark reality. The film shows the stark reality of life in the slums. I think the sense of stark might be cleared. Outline the boundaries of. Outline means the boundary of. Gaze. Gaze means to look someone or something for a long time. To look someone or something for a long time continuously. This is gaze. Bleak means without anything to make you feel cheerful are hopeful. In other words, indifferent. Bleak means indifferent. For example, in Mahabharata, we find the life of Bhishma Pitama bleak in company of the Kauravas. It was the bleak reality of his life. Means the life which is cheerless and hopeless. For example, bleak future means the future with no money and no job. And as in this corona period, most of the people think about bleak future, that due to the problem of unemployment and other things. This is providing a bleak future. And most of the people are getting bleak news, the same news, the spreading of corona day by day, every day. Okay, I think the concept might be clear of it. Crucial hours. Crucial hours means the time very critical, the time which is very critical, or at the very critical moment. This is crucial hours. Direst. Direst means dreadful, very frightening. For example, students, we have the name of we know the name of General Dyer. That was the name of a person Dyer, and the meaning of the name is dreadful. And unfortunately or fortunately for him, in the history of India, he did the direct kind of work by group massacre of people in Jallianwala Bagh. Okay, we find very similarity in his name and in his work. The literal meaning of Dyer is the dreadful or very frightful. Now let's have its explanation. The author was extremely surprised and excited at the news of being near the expected island after crossing the stormy and frightening sea. Now they could heave a sigh of relief. Now they could heave a sigh of relief as the children indicated towards to the island as big as a warship. The author went hurriedly on the deck and looked continuously as fascinated fascinated means attracted towards the sheer and simple outlining of the island of Isle Amsterdam. It was only a simple, cheerless piece of volcanic rock which had a little variety of vegetation on it. Though the island had indifferent, cheerless outlook with little vegetation, yet it was the most beautiful island in the world for them. They anchored their ship offshore, that is, in the shallow water of the sea. They spent that night near the beach, yet at the sufficient distance from the ship to island. The next morning, the inhabitants of that island, who were in number of 28, were happy to see the ship Wave Walker and its captain along with his family and the crewmen. They cheered the frightened people of the ship, welcomed and helped the captain to bring the ship near the seashore. The author thought about his crewmen, especially Larry and Harvey, when he put his feet again on the land. He thought about those two sailors who were happy and optimistic, that is, hopeful, even under the most frightful stress of the ocean. When means the optimistic, happy and optimistic temperament of the two sailors, Harvey and Larry, had touched him and impressed him very much. When the captain stood on land, of Safe Island, he thought about his wife Mary, who stayed at the wheel firmly during those all critical situations of the stormy sea. He contemplated over the teamwork of every crewman of the ship, but he thought most about his 7 years old daughter for her sense of self sacrifice and her devotion for the duty performing captain and a father. She did not mind her own pain for the sake of everybody's lives. She did not mind her own pain, her own ache of head injuries and arm for the sake of everybody's lives in the sea. She did not want to worry her dad for the head injuries which took 6 minor operations to remove a recurring, that is, repeating blood clot between skin and skull. Her patience had touched him deeply. Again, the captain, the author, thought about the daring, fearless thought of his son, a 6 year old boy who was not afraid to die in the heavenly sweet company of his family, mother, father, and his loving sister, Sue. Students, have some evaluation questions. What did the narrator think when he woke up? Second, why did John and Sue want to hug their dad? What was before them? Question third, how did look the island, Isle Amsterdam, to the narrator? Fourth, what did he think most and why? Now the chapter is finished. Students, we will see you again in next video from next chapter. Remaining exercise from this book you will do yourself. Okay? Thank you.